The sun peeks through your curtains, casting a warm glow across your bedroom. You stretch, yawn, and reach for your phone, scrolling through the usual notifications. As you make your way to the kitchen, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air. You pour yourself a cup, savoring that first sip. But as you stand there, mug in hand, a realization washes over you, one that's been building for months, maybe even years. You've been giving your all at work, in relationships, in life, yet something feels off. It's as if you're running on a treadmill, expending enormous energy, but going nowhere. This morning, in the quiet of your kitchen, that feeling crystallizes into a clear thought. I'm not valued here. This moment of clarity, my friends, is a gift. It's a wake-up call urging you to reassess your path and make a change. But change, as we all know, isn't easy. It's human nature to cling to the familiar even when it no longer serves us. We tell ourselves stories. Maybe things will get better, or at least I know what to expect here. We rationalize our reluctance to leave, fearing the unknown that lies beyond our comfort zone. But here's the truth, a truth that might be uncomfortable to hear, but one that could transform your life. Staying where you're not valued is far more costly than the risk of leaving. Every day you spend in an environment that doesn't recognize your worth, you're not just standing still, you're moving backward. Your talents are being wasted, your potential untapped, your spirit slowly crushed under the weight of indifference, or worse, disrespect. Okay? Now, I'm not suggesting you should storm out of your job or relationships at the first sign of difficulty. That's not wisdom. That's impulsiveness. What I am advocating for is a thoughtful, deliberate evaluation of your circumstances and a willingness to make tough decisions if necessary. Let's break this down further. What does it mean to be valued? It's more than just a pat on the back or a good job thrown your way occasionally. Being valued means your ideas are heard and considered. It means your efforts are recognized and rewarded. It means you're given opportunities to grow, to learn, to stretch yourself beyond your current capability. In a work context, being valued might look like this. Your boss actively seeks out your input on important projects. Your colleagues respect your expertise and collaborate with you effectively. Your contributions are acknowledged and your career progression is supported. You feel challenged, but in a way that leads to growth, not burnout. In personal relationships, being valued means your partner, friends, or family members appreciate you for who you are, not who they want you to be. They celebrate your successes, support you through failures, and encourage your dreams. There's a mutual give and take, a sense of reciprocity that nourishes both. True value isn't just bestowed upon us by others. It starts with us. We teach people how to treat us by what we accept, what we tolerate, and what we walk away from. If you found yourself in a situation where you're not valued, the first question to ask isn't, why don't they value me? But rather, why have I allowed this to continue? This isn't about blame. It's about taking responsibility for your own happiness and success. It's about recognizing that you have the power to change your circumstance. Right. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but what if I can't just leave? What if I have bills to pay, responsibilities to meet? And you're right to consider these practical concerns. Leaving a job or a relationship isn't always as simple as walking out the door. But here's what I want you to understand. Deciding to leave doesn't mean you have to do it immediately. It means you've made the mental shift from accepting the unacceptable to actively working towards a better situation. This decision to leave, even if it's not immediate, is powerful. It changes your perspective. You're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You're an architect of your future. This shift in mindset is the first step towards reclaiming your worth. Once you've made this decision, your actions will naturally align with your new goal. You might start updating your resume, networking more actively, or acquiring new skills that will make you more marketable. In personal relationships, you might begin setting clearer boundaries, communicating your needs more effectively, or exploring ways to become more independent. But here's where many people stumble. They make the decision to leave, but then they get caught in the paralysis of perfection. They wait for the perfect job offer, the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances. Let me tell you something. Perfection is the enemy of progress. You don't need perfect conditions to make a change. You just need to take the first step. Remember, leaving a situation where you're not valued isn't just about escaping something negative. It's about moving towards something positive. It's about creating space in your life for opportunities that align with your worth, your values, and your potential. Let me share a story with you. There was once a talented young woman named Lily who worked at a prestigious marketing firm. From the outside, it looked like she had it all: a high-paying job, a fancy title, and a corner office. But inside, Lily felt unfulfilled and undervalued. Her ideas were often dismissed or credited to others. Her hard work went unnoticed while her mistakes were magnified. Despite consistently exceeding her targets, she was passed over for promotions. Lily knew she was capable of more, but the culture of her workplace was slowly eroding her confidence and passion. For months, Lily grappled with the idea of leaving. She'd invested years in this company. What if she couldn't find another job? What if she was making a mistake? But as each day passed, she felt more and more of her spirit being crushed. Finally, after a particularly demoralizing meeting where her project was shelved without explanation, Lily made her decision. She wasn't going to waste another day in a place that didn't recognize her value. The next few months weren't easy. Lily had to dip into her savings while she job hunted. She faced rejection and self-doubt, but she also rediscovered her passion and her worth. She took online courses to enhance her skills. She networked with people in her industry, sharing her ideas and vision. 6 months later, Lily landed a job at a smaller, up-and-coming firm. The salary was slightly less than her previous job, but the opportunities were immense. Her ideas were not just heard, but celebrated. Her hard work was recognized and rewarded. Most importantly, she felt valued. 2 years after making the difficult decision to leave, Lily had not only surpassed her previous salary, but was leading her own team. She had rediscovered her passion for her work and was making a real impact in her field. Lily's story illustrates an important truth. Sometimes you have to be willing to take a step back in order to leap forward. You have to be willing to let go of what's comfortable to grab hold of what's possible. Leaving a situation where you're not valued doesn't always mean physically leaving. Sometimes it means mentally and emotionally disconnecting from the expectations and judgments of those who don't appreciate you. It means redirecting your energy towards pursuits and people who do value you. For instance, if you're in a job where you're not valued, but leaving immediately isn't feasible, you can still leave mentally. Stop seeking approval from those who consistently overlook your worth. Instead, focus on your own personal growth. Set goals for yourself that are independent of your current job. Start a side project. Volunteer for a cause you care about, or invest time in learning a new skill. By doing this, you're declaring to yourself and the universe that your worth is not determined by your current circumstances. You're taking back control of your personal growth and happiness. This mental shift is powerful. It changes how you carry yourself, how you interact with others, and how you approach your work. Ironically, this inner confidence that comes from valuing yourself often leads to others valuing you more too. While this increased recognition from others might be nice, it's not the goal. The goal is to reach a place where your sense of worth comes from within, not from external validation. This brings us to a crucial point: the importance of self-value. You see, when we talk about leaving when they don't value you, we're assuming that you value yourself. But for many people, that's the real challenge. Years of being in environments where they're not appreciated can erode a person's sense of self-worth. They begin to believe the narrative that they're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. And this, my friends, is the real tragedy. You are inherently valuable. Your worth isn't determined by your job title, your relationship status, or your bank balance. It's not defined by how others treat you or what they think of you. Your worth is intrinsic. It's part of who you are, simply because you exist. Recognizing and embracing this truth is the foundation for everything else we're talking about today. Because when you truly value yourself, you naturally gravitate towards people and situations that reflect that value back to you. And you naturally move away from those that don't. So how do you build this sense of self-value? It starts with self-awareness. Take time to really know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your values? What brings you joy? What are you passionate about? The more you understand and appreciate yourself, the easier it becomes to recognize when others aren't valuing you appropriately. Next, practice self-compassion. We're often our own harshest critics. We berate ourselves for mistakes, doubt our abilities, and downplay our achievements. But imagine if you treated yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you'd offer a good friend. How might that change your perspective? Develop a practice of acknowledging your own efforts and achievements, no matter how small. Did you handle a difficult situation well? Recognize that. Did you step out of your comfort zone to try something new? Celebrate that. By consistently acknowledging your own worth, you build a strong internal foundation that isn't easily shaken by external circumstances. Another powerful way to build self-value is through continuous learning and growth. When you're constantly improving yourself, acquiring new skills, and expanding your knowledge, you're investing in your most valuable asset, yourself. This not only increases your practical value in the job market or in relationships, but also boosts your confidence and self-esteem. Now, as you begin to truly value yourself, you'll likely notice a shift in your relationships and circumstances. You'll start attracting people and opportunities that align with your worth. But you'll also start noticing more clearly the situations where you're not valued. And this is where courage comes in, because recognizing that you're not valued is one thing. Doing something about it is another. It takes courage to walk away from the familiar, even when the familiar isn't serving you. It takes courage to believe that you deserve better. It takes courage to step into the unknown in pursuit of what you're truly worth. Courage like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Each time you stand up for your worth, each time you say no to situations that diminish you, each time you walk away from people who don't value you, you're building your courage muscle. And as your courage grows, so does your resilience. You become better equipped to handle setbacks and challenges. You develop a quiet confidence that comes from knowing your worth and being willing to act on that knowledge. Let me tell you another story. This one is about a man named John. John was in a long-term relationship that, from the outside, seemed perfect. He and his partner had been together for years. They had a beautiful home and they were respected in their community. But inside the relationship, John felt invisible. His opinions were dismissed, his needs were ignored, and his accomplishments were belittled. For years, John tried to make it work. He went to counseling, he communicated his feelings, he tried to change himself to be what he thought his partner wanted. But no matter what he did, nothing changed. His partner continued to treat him with indifference at best, contempt at worst. John's self-esteem plummeted. He began to believe that maybe this was all he deserved. One day, while having coffee with an old friend, John found himself sharing his frustrations. His friend listened patiently and then asked him a simple question. John, if your child was in a relationship like yours, what would you tell them to do? That question hit John like a thunderbolt. He realized that he would never want someone he loved to stay in a situation where they weren't valued. And in that moment, he understood that he needed to extend that same love and protection to himself. Making the decision to leave was one of the hardest things John had ever done. He had to face his fears of being alone, of starting over, of what others might think. But he also knew that staying would mean giving up on himself, and that was a price he was no longer willing to pay. The months following his decision were challenging. John had to rebuild his life, rediscover who he was outside of his relationship, and learn to trust his own judgment again. But with each passing day, he felt lighter, more authentic, more alive. 2 years later, John had created a life he loved. He had deepened his friendships, pursued hobbies he'd long neglected, and even started his own business. Most importantly, he had rediscovered his own worth. And from this place of self-value, he eventually found a new relationship. One based on mutual respect, support, and genuine appreciation. John's story teaches us several important lessons. First, it shows us that leaving a situation where you're not valued isn't just about that situation, it's about choosing yourself. It's about deciding that your happiness, your growth, and your well-being are non-negotiable. Second, it illustrates that the path after leaving isn't always smooth. There will be challenges, doubts, and difficult moments, but these challenges are the price of growth. They're the necessary steps on the path to a life aligned with your true worth. Third, John's story reminds us of the power of perspective. Sometimes we need to step outside of our situation and look at it as if it were happening to someone we love. This can give us the clarity and courage we need to make difficult decisions. And finally, John's journey shows us that when we choose to value ourselves, we open the door to experiences and relationships that truly reflect our worth. Okay? Now, I want to address something that often holds people back from leaving situations where they're not valued. The sunk cost fallacy. This is the idea that because you've already invested time, energy, or resources into something, you need to stick with it, even if it's no longer serving you. You might think, but I've been at this job for 10 years. I can't just leave now. Or we've been together for so long, I can't throw away all those years. This kind of thinking traps people in unfulfilling jobs, toxic relationships, and situations that stifle their growth. Those years aren't wasted just because you choose to leave. Every experience, even the difficult ones, contributes to who you are. They've taught you lessons, helped you grow, and brought you to this point of awareness where you can recognize that you deserve more. The time you've already invested is gone and you can't get it back. The real question is, how do you want to invest your future? Do you want to continue pouring your precious time and energy into a situation that doesn't value you? Or do you want to redirect that investment towards opportunities that align with your worth? Remember, it's never too late to make a change. Your past doesn't dictate your future unless you let it. Every day is a new opportunity to choose yourself, to honor your worth, to step towards a life that reflects your true value. The practicalities of leaving a situation where you're not valued. Because while the decision to leave can happen in an instant, the process of leaving often takes time and careful planning. If you're leaving a job, start by securing your finances. Build up an emergency fund if possible. Update your resume and start networking quietly. Research the job market in your field. Consider whether you need to acquire new skills to make yourself more marketable. If you're leaving a relationship, make sure you have a support system in place. Reach out to friends and family. Consider talking to a therapist to help you navigate the emotional challenges. If you live together, start planning for your new living arrangements. In both cases, set clear goals for what you want in your next job or relationship. Use this transition as an opportunity to really think about what you want and what you deserve. As you're planning your exit, don't neglect your current responsibilities. Leave with integrity. Give proper notice at your job. Be clear and respectful in ending a relationship. How you leave says as much about you as how you arrive. Now, I want to address those of you who might be thinking, but what if I leave and things don't work out? What if I can't find a better job? What if I end up alone? These fears are natural. Change is always accompanied by uncertainty. But consider this. Isn't staying in a situation where you're not valued also a risk? Isn't it risking your happiness, your growth, your sense of self-worth? The truth is, there are no guarantees in life, but by choosing to value yourself, by being willing to leave situations that don't honor your worth, you're already succeeding. You're already growing. You're already creating a life of authenticity and self-respect. When people make the courageous choice to leave situations where they're not valued, they often find that new opportunities they never imagined possible start to appear. It's as if the universe responds to their courage by opening new doors. But even if those new opportunities don't immediately materialize, remember that the most important opportunity you're creating is the opportunity to honor yourself. You're making space in your life for experiences that align with your true worth. When you clear out old, ill-fitting clothes from your closet, you're not just getting rid of things. You're creating space for new items that fit you better, that make you feel confident and comfortable. The same principle applies when you leave situations where you're not valued. You're clearing space in your life for experiences that fit who you are and who you want to become. What happens after you leave? This period of transition can be both exhilarating and challenging. You might experience a range of emotions: relief, fear, excitement, doubt. All of these feelings are normal and valid. They're part of the process of growth and change. During this time, it's crucial to stay connected to your reasons for leaving. Remind yourself daily of your worth and why you deserve to be in environments that recognize and celebrate that worth. This inner dialogue will be your anchor as you navigate the uncertainties of change. It's also a time for self-discovery. When we're in situations where we're not valued, we often lose touch with parts of ourselves. We might suppress our ideas, hide our true personalities, or neglect our passions to fit into the mold others have created for us. Now is your chance to rediscover those lost parts of yourself. Take time to explore your interests. Revisit old hobbies or try new ones. Connect with people who inspire you and challenge you to grow. This period of exploration isn't just about filling time until the next opportunity comes along. It's about reconnecting with your authentic self and clarifying what you truly want. Self-discovery. When we're in environments that don't value us, we often adopt external measures of success. A certain job title, a specific relationship status, a particular income level. But as you reconnect with your true self, you might find that your measure of success becomes more internal. It becomes about how true you are to yourself, how much you're growing, how aligned your life is with your values. This shift in perspective is powerful. It means that your sense of worth is no longer dependent on external validation. You're no longer waiting for someone else to recognize your value. You know your worth, and you're creating a life that reflects it. Whether you've left a job, a relationship, or any other situation where you weren't valued, there's often a process of rebuilding that follows. This rebuilding isn't just about finding a new job or a new partner. It's about rebuilding your confidence, your sense of self, and your vision for your life. Start by setting small, achievable goals for yourself. These could be related to your personal growth, your career, your health, or any other area of your life. The key is to start building momentum. Each goal you achieve, no matter how small, is a reminder of your capabilities and your worth. As you're rebuilding, be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. Seek out relationships, both personal and professional, that are supportive and uplifting. Look for people who celebrate your successes, who encourage your growth, and who respect your boundaries. These positive relationships will reinforce your sense of worth and help you stay committed to honoring yourself. Remember, rebuilding takes time. Be patient with yourself. There might be setbacks along the way, moments of doubt or fear. But each challenge you overcome is strengthening your resilience and reinforcing your decision to value yourself. When people start valuing themselves more, They face resistance from others. This resistance can come from various sources. Colleagues who are threatened by your newfound confidence, friends who are uncomfortable with your growth, family members who don't understand your choices. This resistance can be difficult to navigate. It might make you question your decision to leave, to wonder if you're doing the right thing. But here's what you need to remember. Other people's discomfort with your growth is not your responsibility. Their resistance often says more about their own fears and insecurities than it does about you. Your job is not to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your job is to continue growing, to continue honoring your worth, to continue creating a life that aligns with who you truly are. As you do this, you'll find that some relationships naturally fall away while others grow stronger. You'll attract people who appreciate your authentic self, who value you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. Self-value, you'll likely find that your impact on the world around you changes. When we're in situations where we're not valued, we often play small. We hesitate to share our ideas, to take risks, to put ourselves out there. But as you step into your worth, you'll find yourself becoming bolder, more willing to contribute, more eager to make a difference. This ripple effect of self-value is powerful. By honoring your own worth, you give others permission to do the same. You become a living example of what's possible when someone chooses to value themselves. Your courage in leaving situations that didn't honor you can inspire others to do the same. Moreover, when you value yourself, you're better equipped to add value to the world around you. You bring your full self to your work, your relationships, your community. You're more likely to speak up against injustice, to champion causes you believe in, to create positive change in your sphere of influence. This is the beautiful paradox of self-value. By focusing on honoring your own worth, you ultimately become more valuable to the world around you. Not because you're striving to prove your worth to others, but because you're fully expressing your authentic self. Leaving a situation where you're not valued is a significant step, but it's not the end of the journey. Valuing yourself is an ongoing practice, one that requires consistent effort and attention. One powerful way to maintain your sense of self-value is through daily affirmations. These aren't just feel-good statements you repeat to yourself. They're declarations of your worth, reminders of your value, commitments to honoring yourself. Start each day by affirming your worth. Remind yourself of your strengths, your achievements, your potential. Boundaries are the guardrails that protect your worth. They define what you will and won't accept in your relationships, your work, and your life in general. As you become clearer about your worth, you'll find it easier to establish and maintain these boundaries. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about controlling others. It's about taking responsibility for your own well-being. It's about clearly communicating your needs and expectations. And most importantly, it's about being willing to enforce boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. Self-value. You'll likely find that your decision-making process changes. Instead of making choices based on fear or the need for approval, you'll start making decisions that align with your worth and your values. You'll ask yourself questions like, does this opportunity align with my worth? Does this relationship reflect how I deserve to be treated? Does this decision honor who I am and who I want to become? This shift in decision-making can be transformative. It leads to a life that's more authentic, more fulfilling, and more aligned with your true self. It might not always be the easiest path, but it's the path that leads to genuine happiness and success. This all sounds great, but I'm not sure I'm ready to leave my current situation. And that's okay. The decision to leave a job, a relationship, or any situation where you're not valued is deeply personal. It's a decision that only you can make. Even if you're not ready to physically leave, you can start the process of valuing yourself right where you are. You can begin to shift your mindset, to reconnect with your worth, to set healthier boundaries. These interchanges often naturally lead to outer changes. As you start valuing yourself more, you might find that your current situation begins to shift. People might start treating you differently. Opportunities might start appearing. And if the situation doesn't change, your growing sense of self-worth will give you the strength and clarity you need to make a change when you're ready. Remember, the goal isn't necessarily to leave every situation that's challenging. The goal is to create a life where you're valued, where you can grow, where you can fully express your authentic self. Valuing yourself isn't selfish. It's not arrogant. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about recognizing your inherent worth as a human being. It's about honoring the unique gifts, perspectives, and potential that you bring to the world. When you truly value yourself, you set the standard for how others treat you. You create space in your life for relationships and opportunities that reflect your worth. You become more resilient in the face of challenges, more confident in pursuing your goals, more authentic in your interactions with others. And perhaps most importantly, when you value yourself, you give others permission to do the same. Your self-respect inspires respect in others. Your self-love encourages others to love themselves. Your courage in honoring your worth emboldens others to honor theirs. Make a commitment to value yourself, whether that means leaving a situation that doesn't honor your worth or starting the inner work of reconnecting with your value right where you are. Take that first step, however small it might seem. Remember, you are worthy of respect, of appreciation, of love. You are worthy of opportunities that challenge you to grow and allow you to shine. You are worthy of relationships that uplift you, work that fulfills you, a life that excites you. Don't wait for others to recognize your worth. Recognize it yourself, honor it, act on it. Because when you do, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to creating a world where everyone's worth is recognized and celebrated. The journey of self-value isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. And it starts with a single decision, the decision to honor your worth, to believe in your value, to create a life that reflects who you truly are. So go forth with courage, with self-compassion, and with the unshakable knowledge of your own worth. The world is waiting for the unique gifts that only you can bring. It's time to honor those gifts, to honor yourself, and to create a life that truly reflects your value.